With tears, death, and limbo as themes in its trailers and premise, Crystar's pretty but dark aesthetic and story themes have had me intrigued since months ago when I saw its trailer pop up here on YouTube. Since that day, Crystar has received plenty of coverage in Japanese magazines such as Famitsu, more trailers, and its publisher Furia's continued promotional support for it has kept me in and wondering if the title would be worth the hype. Although nothing has been said about it coming to the West yet, with interesting mechanics that incorporate its crying theme well, action gameplay, and a story full of an intriguing use of sadness, after looking more into Crystar, I really want to try the unique mechanics in its dark, pretty world. Crystar's story revolves around its tearful protagonist Rei and an accidental journey into a new world that quickly turns tragic. Rei doesn't usually leave her room, but she somehow finds herself waking up in a dark, mysterious world with her sister Mirai trying to find a way out. Shortly after, Rei discovers she has mysterious powers when she fights to protect her sister from a spirit, and when calming down from the battles with her new powers still being out of control, as she goes to grab her sister's hand, she winds up tragically killing her instead. Distraught over her sister's death while still in this other world, Rei is offered a contract by a devil that might help save her sister. Her sister is only supposed to be truly dead when she passes through limbo, so the limbo managers Mephis and Fel seem to take advantage of Rei's will to save her sister, and she makes a contract with them to become their proxy to reap the souls of the spirits floating through limbo and to sacrifice her tears, with doing so being the only way to potentially save her sister. With the only goal in mind being her desire to save Mirai, Rei pushes forward with her new power at the whim of the devils, alongside her new friends that are other agents working for their own causes. Where this dark story will go and what Rei will endure both working for the devils and going through so much sadness is something I'm curious to see. And with a more selfish premise as opposed to something like saving the world in other JRPGs, I'm curious to see how this theme will grow in the full game. The use of Rei's powers and sadness seems to be realized in the action gameplay of Crystar in its dark world, with the mechanics looking to combine typical action gameplay with its tear-filled theme. At the core of Crystar's battles is a fluid-looking active system where you can switch between Rei and her friends to take down the spirits residing in limbo. I don't know too much about the intricacies of the active system since I haven't played it, but its special attack system incorporates the game's theme in a way that looks interesting. As you attack enemies or take a moment to cry while standing on the field and using up SP, you can build up a tear-shaped gauge that makes characters go into a stronger max mode like in Overdrive, where the girls gain access to special attacks and abilities, including being able to summon a guardian to help fight. On top of this, since Rei is portrayed as being full of tears and sadness, outside of battle in her room, her crying is also incorporated into making her stronger. As part of her killing spirits for devils, since these spirits and ghosts were at least once the souls of people, they shout final words as they die, and these final words are said to affect Rei and stay with her. To deal with this, she can cry these words out with the catharsis mechanic to help her gain new skills, seemingly as a version of skill points or experience. She can also be affected by things like books as well, and all of these incorporate the idea of crying and using sadness in a way that makes Crystar seem very unique to play. Aside from making Rei cry and gain skills through catharsis, since she's dealing with a lot of souls who were once human, some of these spirits are also said to have memories you can explore in the form of their memoirs. I'm not sure how they're obtained as of yet, but it seems like an aspect of the game that will add lore to Crystar's world and the spirits you meet in it. There are said to be over 90 of these memoirs of the dead to find, and I'm very interested to see how deep they'll go and what kind of stories they'll tell. It was Crystar's first trailer appearing in my sub-feed that got me curious about it in the first place, and this was definitely at least partially because of its pretty visual style. Its character designs all have a doll-like anime quality to them, with especially big and detailed eyes making them an appropriate focal point when you look at these characters, and partner with a softer take on gothic and Lolita styles when it comes to costumes and the game's general color scheme. Its dark style is pretty eye-catching. While Rei and Mirai make up the characters that create the premise for Crystar, there are other party members that are other girls fighting for different reasons, including the loss of children and justice. And while all of these characters have their own look, they have in common that they're fighting for their own very different goal as well. The trailers have also been very good at capturing the emotion and lonely feelings that will likely be prevalent while Rei searches for her sister. Especially in the first trailer, most of the shots have characters by themselves, and with movement usually being characters either running away or falling alone, it's easy to get a feeling of the tone of the story. What also caught my eye in the trailers are some of the different animation and storytelling styles in some scenes. While most of the story seems to be told in 3D cutscenes in its dark but colorful world, there's an almost visual novel-like other style that features a messier 2D art style in a sepia tone that seems to tell the story of Rei and Mirai's home life. Since Rei is said to not leave her room, I'm hoping this is where we'll find out why, and the choice of seemingly using a different art style adds a nice bit of visual diversity, while still fitting in with the game's overall style. Finally, to complement Crystar's visuals so far have been music tracks that have been a mix of gentle, mysterious music and a rock vibe, with its rock moments reminding me of some of my favorite anime openings such as the one from Mirai Nikki, making me instantly like its theme song. The only real track showcased so far has been the one from the trailer called Ken Cry, and I really like it so far. But there's also been some tracks with a classical influence shown in the gameplay previews on its website. While the two tracks I've heard are quite different, I think both fit the emotional tone of Crystar well, and I'm looking forward to hearing what the rest of its music, along with everything else, will be like in the final game. Although there's been no localization announcement for Crystar as of yet, the way it uses its theme of crying both mechanically and in its story has me very intrigued so far. It's also had great trailers with good-looking visuals and music, and with these alongside its interesting ways of using its theme and its gameplay, I'm hoping everything comes together well in the final game. Crystar comes out October 18th in Japan, and I'm looking forward to seeing if it does well and if it's a good game, and if they decide to also put out a demo as well. Whether I try it sooner or later, I hope it's good so that we can see its interesting take on sadness and tears as mechanics in this interesting, emotion-inspired JRPG world. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you think Crystar looks interesting and if you want it to come to the West. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, or you can check out the blog at jrpgjungle.com where I do everything I do here, but in written form, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at jrpgjungle. Links to those will be in the description below, along with links to where you can pick up Crystar in Japanese when it comes out, and where you can tell Fruity you want this game to be localized. Until next time, thank you, bye!